I want to read you a list. I have a TED Talk. I have written 2 books. I am a certified ADHD and certified autism coach. I run a marketing agency. I coach people. I am the board president and founder of a nonprofit. I host this podcast. I also have 3 neurodivergent children. That is a list of things I've earned just in the last few years. And I'm going to tell you something. I've never framed it this way out loud before. I do not think I collected any of that because I am super ambitious. I think I collected it because somewhere around, age 9, I figured out that being impressive was the only thing that made being difficult forgivable. And here is the part that should bother you if you are anything like me. Not one of those things ever felt like arriving. They still don't. Every single one of them felt like clearing a bar. And then the bar moved, and I went and found a new bar. So today we're talking about something nobody in the ADHD space really wants to say out loud, because it looks a lot like we are attacking success. We're not. For a lot of us, achievement is not the proof that we overcame our ADHD. Achievement is the symptom. So stay to the end, because I'm going to give you one question that tells you the difference between ambitious and armor. And it takes about 4 seconds to answer. Let's dive into it.
Yo. Yo. Yes. Yo, it's Alyece, say it right, no cap. ADHD CEO, yeah, we run this track. Systems that slap, brains built different. We make sales in our sleep, yeah, the hustle's efficient. This ain't fluff, nah, this is strategy raw for the ADHD. Minds breaking every law. Hit subscribe, don't miss a single show. We're running on dopamine, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, before we dive in too much, just a little personal note from me. It is wild around here. Today is the actual first day that I'm home alone again. And I've got a list of things to do that I want to do. And, in my parking lot that is like longer than your average CVS receipt, right? All the receipts that print after it, coupons, codes, extra bucks, whatever. And it's so quiet almost that I'm having to readjust. So if your kids have gone back to school, are you excited about it? I kind of am. I know we all thrive on routine here in my house, so I'm excited to be back on some sort of routine. If you've been following me on social media, on my personal TikTok at all, you've probably know that we had a lot of adjustments this year in our house with who's going to what school and where. And I won't spend a lot of time on this episode, but if your kids got back to school on time, you're doing awesome. So let's dive in the episode, because last week I told you about the report card, and every single one of them say the same version of the same thing. She has so much potential when she learns to control herself, when she stops interrupting. And I want you to hear what that sentence actually does, because I do not think it was meant cruelly. I don't think it ever was meant cruelly, especially when it came from my parents. There is no one on this planet that really is more supportive and helpful, especially with my children. Maybe my husband, but my parents existed before he did. So it just wasn't meant to be me. I think every single teacher who ever wrote that thought they were just encouraging me. But run the logic. Okay, so much potential means what you are right now is not the thing we want. And so there is a better version of you in there, and you are standing in front of it. That's what it really means. So you're 9 years old and you have just been handed a job. You go get a better version, prove she exists. And here is why that lands so much harder on the ADHD kid than on anybody else. A neurotypical kid hears you have potential and files it as a compliment. Thank you. As an ADHD kid who has already been in trouble that week or talked too much and, been sent to the principal's office for that, probably that day even, she has already been told she talks too much or interrupts too much or is too much. And so she does not hear that as a compliment. She hears like the terms of some kind of negotiation, some kind of deal. And so be impressive enough and the rest of it gets overlooked. That's how my brain rationalized it. And so that is the deal that I signed with my life, you know, 9-year old, and I have been paying on it for 20 something years now. I'll be 36 this week. I have never once renegotiated that. And so when really trying to decide how I wanted to present this episode, because my Threads feed, my Facebook feed, my TikTok feed is full of videos about, ADHD women who were diagnosed late in life, missed, the diagnosis because they're chronic achievers, overachievers, or they're not the picture of what the world thinks of ADHD, this 8-year-old little white boy who's running around, bouncing off the walls and breaking stuff. So it was always missed in them. And there's kind of like 4 common tells, I guess you would say, that I've kind of seen and witnessed in reading some of this content from other women's experience. So I want to get specific because I want you to hear yourself in this, not just hearing me. These 4 tells that your achievement is running as a symptom and not ambition. And I want you to see how many you have. Tell number 1, the finish line moves every single time. This happens to me regularly. My husband and I have had multiple long conversations about this because I am very good at execution for the most part. I set my sights on something. I want it. I get it. If I don't get it, there's usually a reason. Maybe it wasn't the right time for me. Maybe I just lost interest in it. That happens a lot too with ADHD. But I am very good at executing when I'm passionate about it. But I always tell my husband, "Oh, I just got to finish this, and when this is done, this will happen." And he's like, no, it'll never be done. You'll always find something else. And so the finish line is moving every time you hit that goal and you get maybe, 40 minutes, not 40 days, 40 minutes of, I got that. I achieved that. And then your brain's like, okay, but that was probably luck. And also here's the next thing. Real ambition has arrival in it. You get there, you feel it, you rest, you pick the next thing on purpose, you take time to do that. If you have never once felt that like arrival, like I have arrived, that is not because your goals are too small. It's because arrival was never what you were really chasing. You were chasing relief, and relief has a very short shelf life. All right. Number 2, you collect credentials. And I am calling myself out in this episode so much that I am struggling to even say it. You collect credentials you don't need. You don't need. And we tell ourselves that we do need these things to get to the next level in life or to get to that goal or to be more, likable, or more clients would want to hire me. Look at my list again, certifications. And those are just my ADHD and autism certifications. I am like certified in high performance coaching. Let's see, what else? Branding strategist, social media expert. Like the list of certifications is so ridiculous. I stopped listing them because people are going to be like, well, what? Why? 2 books, right? Running a nonprofit. That's been super successful, by the way. TEDx. Some of that is genuinely the work. Some of that is because I needed to like refine myself and I wanted big goals. And then a lot of it, if I'm honest with you, is just armor. It is me like preloading the answer to a question nobody was even asking. So when somebody eventually says, well, are you actually qualified? I can pull out my stack of paper and be ready. Is that necessary? So, you can tell the difference. Armor is the credential you got so you would be allowed to say the thing you already knew. That was a really hard rationalization for me, really hard. And a lot of times, again, some of it is prep work. Right? If you are trying to get into like keynote speaking or media of any sort, yeah, where does this come from? But 9 times out of 10, especially for the speeches I've already been booked for, like being an actual speaker, they want to hear my story. That lived experience is a credential. So why? All right, number 3, rest feels like risk. Oh my God, this is me. Like I said, I'm feeling attacked on my own words here. And I have been sitting on this episode for probably like 3 or 4 weeks. And I've got a little notebook where I jot down like my immediate ideas. And of course, I use my Flow First system. So voice memoing myself ideas for this episode because I wanted to just put myself on Front Street a little bit. It's easy for me to come on every week and say, oh, this is what you should do. This is what you should do. Write a book about it. But you need to know that all of that, again, is me working on myself to help you, me developing systems that can help other people. And so rest feeling like risk, that's a relatable one. Not rest feels nice, but I'm too busy. I mean, like, rest actively feels dangerous. Like, if you stop moving or you stop thinking, you stop generating ideas, the whole thing catches up with you and everybody just finds out all of a sudden. Like, oh my God, they might know that I did nothing on Sunday and I just watched Netflix. Because in your head, you're not resting. You're letting the gap close, the gap between what people think of you and what you are afraid is true. I really want to know if that hits. Send me a DM on IG and let me know. Do you struggle to rest? I know that I struggle to turn my brain off. My husband, like, asks all the time, "Why are you on your phone?" And Netflix or, like, he'll grab the remote and try to change the TV, and I'm like, "I'm watching that." And he's like, "No, you're not. You're on your phone." "Yeah, but that's, like, background noise, and I'm listening to it." "Are you really? Are you really?" Or you get in that, like, "Oh my god, there's things on the counter, and I gotta declutter this whole house." When do you need to? Right now? After a week? A hellacious week? Shouldn't you be resting, right? Tell number 4, you cannot take a compliment and you cannot function without one. Somebody praises you for your work and you deflect it instantly. It was a team thing. It was everybody. Oh, I couldn't have done it without this person. It was not that big of a deal. Anybody could have done it. It's kind of like that thing where somebody compliments your outfit and you're like, oh, it was like $4 at Target or I got it on clearance, right? It's that oversharing, but it's also that deflection. And then 2 days with no external validation and you're quietly falling apart. The combination does not make any sense until you understand what the praise is actually for. It is not making you feel good. It is a receipt. It is evidence for the case that you have been building your entire life. And you cannot hold a compliment because of a compliment implies you're done and you're not allowed to be done. And so why does this happen to us in particular? Because plenty of people are overachievers. And this is not everybody's story. This is mine. I know a lot of women will relate to this, ADHD women specifically. But 2 things stack. First, the feedback history. By the time you were an adult, whether you're late diagnosed or not, you've absorbed thousands of small corrections. Sit still, focus, let people finish. You're interrupting, you're not listening. Why is this late? Why is this messy? Why can't you just keep your car clean, Alyece? Nobody gets thousands of those and comes out neutral about themselves. You come out with a theory, and the theory is there is something wrong with me and I need to cover it up. Second, and this is the piece nobody connects. Achievement is the single most reliable dopamine source available to an ADHD brain. And so I've talked about like interest-based nervous system on this show a lot. Your brain does not run on importance. It runs on interest and novelty and urgency and challenge. Well, guess what the new goal is? It's all 4 at once. Brand new, high stakes, hard, and it has a deadline. So achievement is not just how you prove you're okay. It's also the thing that reliably makes your brain feel good. That closes a loop. That is why this is so hard to see and so hard to stop. It's a coping mechanism and it pays you in money and status and dopamine and in the thing you actually wanted, which was to be left alone about the rest of it. So nobody stages an intervention for you. You get promoted for this. And so I've told you I burned out in my first business, 6 figures, in the first year, shut it off almost overnight. I've always explained that there was a boundaries problem, and it was. I was terrible with boundaries. Sometimes I still am. And I people pleased myself into the ground. But I want to add a layer I skipped because I think it is the actual mechanism. I could not hold a boundary with a client because boundaries risk the receipt. If I say no, if I charge too much or properly, if I let somebody be a little bit disappointed in me and then I'm not impressive anymore, and if I'm not impressive anymore, the deal is off and I'm just difficult and I've lost money, lost a client. So I said yes to everything. And when one client stepped back for reasons that had nothing to do with me, and I talked about this last week, I read it as like the verdict, right? Not she's got something going on. The verdict, I'm not good enough. That is not a boundaries problem underneath. That is an achievement addiction with a boundaries problem sitting on top of it. And that's the cost. Not that you work too hard. It's that a business built on proving people wrong or a career has no way to say no because everything no is a threat to the only thing kind of holding you up. So here's what I want you to actually do. I like to be super tactical and give you takeaways, things you can execute in your daily life here. It's not stop achieving. I am not going to sit here and tell an ADHD entrepreneur to have fewer goals. That is not going to happen. And I wouldn't want that. Here's the question I promised you at the beginning of this episode, 4 seconds. If nobody ever found out I did this, would I still do it? If you're watching this on video, you're like, her eyes are ridiculous because I'm already like, my stomach's turning reading this. That is it. That is the whole test. Run it on the thing on your list right now. If the answer is yes, and it's something you really want, that's ambition. keep it, protect it, put it in your spark times. If the answer is no, or if the answer is, well, what would be the point? That's armor. I do not want you to hear this as shame. Armor is not stupid. You built it because you needed it. A 9-year-old version of you needed it. And it kept working for 20 years. But armor you are still wearing in a room with no threat is just extra weight, just extra pressure. And you've been carrying it into rooms where everybody already believes you. So the assignment is not to take it off. The assignment is to notice you're wearing it. All right. So I want you to take the next goal on your list, run it through that question. I'll say it again. If nobody ever found out I did this, would I still do it? Don't fix anything. Don't cancel anything. Just answer it honestly. One time out loud in your car to nobody. Then come tell me. DM me on IG at socially.awesome. Tell me which one it was and what the answer is. I read every single one of these. And I will tell you right now, I ran this on 2 things this week. And I did not love both answers. I did not. So if you're sitting there realizing you've built an entire business or career out of armor and you do not know how to run it any other way, this is the work. This is what I do. I help you build boundaries. I help you build systems and stopping points so that your life is not load bearing on your self-worth. I still have that discounted one-on-one 1-hour call open for people who want at the end of these episodes. It's in the show notes. If you've not already grabbed the book, Flow First Thinking, it's on Amazon, it's on Audible for less than $10 on audio. And I know most ADHDers won't actually finish a physical book. So props to that. If you read the book already, please drop it a review on Amazon. It costs you nothing, and it's genuinely how other people find it. It's the best compliment you can give. Check the show notes for all the resources. If you're local to me in Mississippi Gulf Coast, make sure you come out this weekend, this Saturday, August 8th, to the Mississippi Gulf Coast Book Fest. I'll be there. I'll be signing books. Cadence Corner, my nonprofit, will also be there with our mobile sensory unit. All right. And until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome. I'll see you next week.